Hello, welcome today, and um, I need to share something with you, and we need to get things rolling. We need to start talking about these things because a lot is happening behind the curtain. I am really interested in this project because it is time we start talking about, we started talking about these things. A lot of people are going through so much in their private lives as a result of the system that they went through growing up. Talking as an ex-seminarian and from my experience and trying to listen to others, especially the less fortunate, I need to, I think I need to be a voice for these our brothers and sisters who have undergone the training in the Catholic Church, who didn't end up being priests or sisters or nuns and religious, and those who have been affected negatively as a result of the training and the route they took growing up in terms of training and formation. Today, there is a need. I think there is a need for the church to understand, the bishop to understand, the rector of the seminary or the superior of whatever congregation you are. It's time we start talking about these things. It's time we start sharing about our experiences to help them, so that those who will be going through the formation, who will be going through the system that we went through, do not have a negative impact. I believe that the rectors and the superiors, the bishops, the church entirely want the best for all those who underwent training in the church or who went through the system in the church, the formation system we're talking about now. Right, a lot has been going on, a lot has been talked about, and it's unfortunate because the appropriate quarters that should hear about these feedbacks are not getting to hear them. And it is really, really causing a lot of trouble, a lot of damage in the minds of young men, young women, those who should have been an asset to the church. But when you are not doing very well and you're not blossoming in the area you are planted, it becomes you will invariably tend to lay blames, have bitterness and rancor and anger in you, and that is not nice. There is a need for the church, the seminary system, the formation system, the superior, the congregations, all the trainings in the church to recognize the need for feedbacks from both those who are in the system and those who left the system. There is a need for feedback so that it will help them to continue adjusting the system to produce the best result, the best of whoever that passed through the system, whoever that passed through the seminary system, whoever passed through the congregations, through the religious system, whatever it is. There is a need to get feedback, especially from those who are withdrawn, because they stand the chance of giving you a concrete, reliable, and realistic evaluation of the system that they've gone through, because they are no longer fearing for any repercussions, for any consequences if they say what is really a problem in the system. They will not feel that the system, the authorities will withhold them, will go after them because they have already left the system. So I believe they stand the chance of giving you a realistic evaluation of the system that you are operating. It is really, especially in the developed world, when you leave a job, when you use a service, you always get a feedback, a kind of survey sent back to you to evaluate the system, the service that you've used, to evaluate the job you've left. If there is any need, that they need to change certain things to provide the best service, to provide the best result to the service users. I think the church needs to appropriate this evaluation system to evaluate, right? I believe in the church, in the seminary, there is always screening at the end of every year, academic year. The council, the College of Formatees, they will sit around and evaluate every seminarian based upon certain criteria, from the reports written by the auxiliaries, by the house masters, by the labor masters, by the chapel prefect, by the class prefect, and other functionaries. I believe that you are evaluating the seminarians, but you have not given them the chance to evaluate your system. You have not given them the chance to give a realistic view of what they are going through that is impacting on their lives. Now, I believe that there should be a system of checks and balances, a system where the College of Formatees evaluate the seminarians, and the seminarians evaluate the College of Formatees, evaluate the school authorities, evaluate the church authorities, evaluate the kind of help, the kind of formation they're going through, and see if it is really, if the system is really helping or damaging them. A lot of people suffer abuse in the system that have gone under the radar, not been talked about. A lot of people have been abused, but in the seminary, in the convent, in the religious houses, and outside. There is no way you will know all these things unless you get a feedback, you get evaluation, you get people talking, you get the seminarians talking, you get the ex-seminarians talking, to give you a better picture, a clearer picture of what you think you are doing. I believe that all the formaters think that they are doing their best. They are giving their best. And the system, the formation system, is giving its best to the formatees, you know, the seminarians, the nuns, the religious. But you will not know the effect you are leaving on these young minds unless you get them talking. It is a reality that in the seminary, the system is pervaded with fear. It is not reverence, it is fear. Fear of what you might say and authorities come after you. There are things you say in the seminary and you will go in for it. There are actions you will take. You will go in for it. There is a lot of fear in the system that make people not to be authentic, not to be real, not to be realistic, but to fake it and keep floating, keep floating in the system until they're out of the system, and then you see their real color. Now you are not achieving the objective you set out. There is a need for you to achieve the objectives that you map out to achieve. When the system that you employ, you operate, are not, are not getting the result that you think you set out to achieve, then there's a need to upgrade. There is a need to amend. There is a need to augment, or there is a need to balance things out. A kind of renew the system. I believe that it is high time that the seminary authority, the church authority, start looking into upgrading the system. Upgrading the system. There is a need for it from the minor seminary to the major seminary. There is a need for a complete overhaul of the system. The seminary is still being run by the system that is put in place by the old priests and bishops and old people like Bishop Whelan from Ireland, Bishop, God knows, Bishop, I don't know, I can't remember all of them now, but most of these old bishops, they missionaries that came, during the time of the missionaries, they came and they formed all these religious houses and all these seminaries, and they set up a system that they mirrored from the island, from the Western world. But now things have changed, that these systems, they are no longer relevant. They are not producing the relevant results in the mind of these young men and young ladies that are going through them now. There is a need for complete overhaul. When I came to this country, in this UK, I quickly realized that their seminary system here is completely different from what I experienced back in Nigeria. They are running a different, it looks like they have a different set of rule and then a different set of rule for the church in Africa. The church in Africa is still operating with the rules and regulations of the missionaries that came around 1950s, 1940s, 1920s, 30s. There is a need to upgrade, to be in tandem with the world. I am not saying that there is a need to water down the seminary formation system. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the church needs to get a grip. The seminary authority needs to get a grip. The bishop, the local ordinary, the vocation director, all the stakeholders in the formation system need to get a grip that things have changed. And there's a need to renew, there's a need to upgrade, there's a need to rehearse the system and build up a system that is relevant, that will produce gentlemen and ladies that are relevant to the age that they are operating on. There is no need to keep using this fear tactics to raise the seminarians. There is no need. There is a need at this moment. It should be a system. You should run a system where a young man in the formation system, in the seminary system, should be proud and bold enough to say what he wants to say, his mind, his opinion, realistically, what he has in mind, say it to the formators. And that will help the formators to really help this young man, direct this young man, to get the best out of him. But a situation where you are running a system where the young man is thinking that you are going after him to expel him, he will always employ the tactics where he will just do what you want. Say the things you want to hear so that he will rigmarole and navigate the system and get out. And that's the reason why a lot of seminarians are not happy. But they will not tell you, formatees, that they are not happy. But they will say it among themselves. But there are things you can do in the system so that they will be carried along. They will be be realistic. They will be bold. They will be authentic. They will be authentic, in themselves, and that will help them to really say for sure, without equivocation, without regret, that, well, I don't think this system is for me, because you have not allowed this young man to say how the system is impacting on him. Now, let's take, for example, in the minor seminary, from JS1 to SS3, it is equivalent to the secondary education in the secular world. I loved the seminary. I enjoyed my time in the seminary, from the minor seminary to the major seminary. In the minor seminary, I was really, really looking forward to going back to the seminary because it gave me the challenges. It was a very competitive environment for me, and I so much love it. I do well in the competitive environment, but I still realize and I still recognize that not too many people enjoy being in a competitive environment. But let's say in the minor seminary, I went through a lot of, there are a lot of things, good things that I learned that will keep me for life. I am so much rooted when it comes to lexicon, vocabularies, because I had the opportunity to do Latin, French in the minor seminary, and they are old ancient languages that more or less most of the English words are derived from. So they gave me that chance I had in the seminary. It gave me a fighting chance, gave me a kind of a head start, to communicating anywhere. There's nowhere I can stay now and find a word that I, more or less I will not kind of know what the register, where it is, what is it is talking about, a kind of, most of the words, most of the everyday words, I can say what, maybe not really what they mean, but what the meaning is bordering on. I can say that because of the good Latin foundation. Now, and some other languages as well, and the academic system in the minor seminaries where I attend was so grounded that, for you to pass from one class to the other, you must have studied really hard. There's an ample opportunity for you to read a lot of books, bordering on a lot of novels that you could not have bought on your own. You have access to the library that is quite equipped, considerably equipped, that you can lay your hands on so many books. Now, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed a lot of quality teachers, teachers that really value teaching. I enjoyed that. And it made me who I am today, part of who I am today. And going through the seminary, I was placed in charge of certain functionaries that made me more responsible, more than what I should have been. I am a lot more responsible, more than what I should have been, because of the functionaries, the functions that were entrusted under my care, that I had to be up and doing to discharge these functions. It helped me from the from the young age to be responsible, to know that everything, you are responsible for your action. You are responsible for what is entrusted unto you. You are responsible as well. To whom much is given, much is expected. So this opportunity helped me a lot in life. I treasure it. I treasure that opportunity to hold certain functions in the seminary. I also learned the need to pray, devote my time, some time to recollection, to meditation, develop that meditation. When I came to this Western world, I realized that meditation, meditation, is something that people, are paying a lot to do, to learn how to do. But I learned all this from the minor seminary, because every morning after prayers, there is time allotted to meditation. Although some people do sleep, although sometimes I do also join to sleep, but most of the time, it gave me that opportunity to develop, thinking, recollecting, meditating about my life, what I'm going to do for the day, and now it also guides me every night every night I think about what I will do the next day, and I plan it out. It helps me in planning. These are the benefits of the formation that I got from the seminary, from the minor seminary. Also the need to keep your uniform clean, because these things are looked upon during the assembly. If you are very dirty, you'll be flogged or you'll be sent on manual labor. These things help you to keep an eye on your appearances, your clothes. You make sure that your clothes are at their best. You make sure that you keep your school clothes very clean, your beddings very clean. We used to have Saturday inspections and all that. You start learning how to keep your bed sheets clean, your beds. That's the first thing you do when you wake up from the bed to take your shower. Before you go to the chapel, you make your beds. That's very nice. And also, I also learned that there are times for everything. Time for breakfast, time for to be productive. Wake up early in the morning, start being productive as early as possible, and then until the night time when you will retire to bed. The whole day is filled up with activities to help you with time management. It helped me to manage my time, regardless of the fact that I have so much time to myself, but I still manage my time, make sure that I am productive, make sure that at the end of the day, I look back and look back on what I achieved for the day, and I will be very happy. The days I had a maximum, I achieved the maximum result, from the day. These are the things that the seminary imprinted in me, inculcated in me. These are the things that the minor seminary formation during the minor seminaries helped to cultivate in me, and I cherish them. These are very nice, positive feedback of the things as an ex-seminarian. What I learned from the minor seminary are helping me in my daily life now. But then, when you talk about the negative aspect of what needs to be looked on, changed in the minor seminary, I believe that the seminary authority, the formation houses, the rectors, the bishops, the stakeholders in the formation houses need to understand that during the teenage years, these are the time when most of the young seminarians are in the minor seminary. the teenage years, what happened to you during your teenage years impact a lot on your personality when you became an adult. What you went through, however it affects you, you will see that result, the effect when you become an adult. So there needs to be a system where young seminarians are taught how to give feedbacks, honest and authentic feedbacks of how they feel. And it is not a situation of where a seminarian would talk, a young seminarian would talk about how he feels, and you flog him or you send him on manual labor. Even when he talks about something that you don't want to hear, learn how to talk to the seminarian, learn how to talk to these young guys to accept the things they don't find acceptable, to look at it from a positive side, from the positive angle, not from the negative angle, because there are certain things, there are certain functions or certain programs that are introduced in this minor seminary that the seminarians don't enjoy doing them, like singing, like labor, doing manual labor, like every time singing instead of going to games. I know that a lot of seminarians, minor seminarians, they love going to games, playing, because that's their time. But you send them to manual labor under the intense heat of the sun. They don't like it. If you keep explaining to them the need, to embrace these things, because life out there is not a bed of roses, let them understand it from the angle, from the lens of the positive lens and not the negative lens. There are a lot of other things that are not, a lot of seminarians, young seminarians don't like doing them. I'm not saying that you should remove them, no, but you should let them understand, accept it wholeheartedly, so that they will understand, because when you understand, it empowers you, it gives you more, it increases your eagerness to confront whatever it is with cheerfulness, with positive attitude. Then again, when you finish when you are SS3, the school authority, the seminary authority, the formation houses, the local ordinary, the rector, they should understand that these guys are at a critical point in their life, that whatever way they go, if they proceed to the major seminary, it will impact on their life. If they didn't qualify if they didn't succeed going straight to the major seminary, it will impact on their lives. Why then do you discourage seminarians, the minor seminarians who are in SS3, why do you discourage them from taking JAM, from taking SSC or GCSE? Why do you discourage them? Why do you punish them? The seminary authority should understand that this could be looked into and incorporated into the training. Let the seminarians in SS3, let them take JAM in SS3. Let them take GCSE in SS3 if they want to. Make it open for them so that they can, if they want to, let them take it. If they get good grade or good numbers in the JAM or whatever, they can switch. They can wholeheartedly. They have options. If you don't send them to the major seminary, they can easily, find admission in the higher institution, and then they will go. They don't have to lose many years, trying to, because most of the time I realize that most people, what you call vocation boom, it's not really vocation boom, because you constitute to that clogging of seminarians. You clog them, after SS3. A lot of people will be there who are qualified to be sent to the major seminary, And then you begin to shout, oh, there is vocation boom. There's so much number, but there's a limited space in the major seminary. But the number that is available is too much, and that is vocation boom. But a situation where you allow them to take their jams and SSCE, and they got, they have the opportunity for that. Now they have two things. If you don't take them for this, they can go towards that, the higher institution. They can transit seamlessly to the higher institution without losing years. Now, a lot of people when they finish the seminary, they are sent on apostolic, 1 year compulsory apostolic work. You send them to the parishes, right? Okay. And then you also maintain that they should not take JAM or SSCE or GCSEE. Then the parish priest will hold on to that, will not allow these people, these young guys, to have options in their lives. Instead, they will be used as slaves. A lot of minor seminarians are abused in the parishes. This is because of the impression you give to the parish priests. You should, as the vocation director, as the rector of the seminary, as the local ordinary, let the priests understand that the seminarians, the minor seminarians that are sent into their parishes, are not beasts of burdens. A lot of them are used as beasts of burdens. The seminarian washes the car, the seminarians cook the food, the seminarian attend to masses, and set up for the masses, set up the everything. They wash the priests the clothes. They do a lot of things. Like I know about seminarians in the parishes. Some priests use as rags, pretty much as trash. They don't eat very well. The priest doesn't care. And then they are meant to walk like beasts of burden. They need to be treated with respect. A lot of priests do treat minor seminarians with respect. And you see those priests, the seminarians are very happy, always happy to identify with them, always going back to visit them, always talking highly of them. But there are priests that are known in the diocese, whatever diocese it is, there are priests that are known that if you as a minor seminarian is sent to that parish, other seminarians will begin to pity you from the get-go, because they have heard stories. The people who have passed under these priests, they have seen the worst of the treatments. But there is no feedback. There is no way the local ordinary knows what is happening in this parish. There is no way the rector knows what is happening in this parish. There's no way the vocation director knows what is happening in this parish. But these seminarians, they are being abused in these parishes. Why? There should be a medium to get feedback from these young seminarians, from their apostolic experiences. Some priests need to be warned how they handle minor seminarians. When you send the minor seminarians to the parishes, they are meant to continue their formation. You are forming them as a priest. You are forming them as a parish priest or assistant. You are not there to look out for the wrong things that he has done. He is just a teenager. He doesn't know much. He is rather still undergoing formation. You should use opportunity to, imprint the positive changes in this young mind, so that tomorrow he will be happy that he passed on the hill. He will be proud of you. He will talk highly of you. Seminarians who suffer abuses in the parishes should be able to speak up. And there should be a way that they are, you hear them out. They narrate their experiences. If there is any need for psychological counseling, You put them under psychological counseling. Get these things out of their chest so that it will not ruin their life. There are a lot of people who the abuses they suffered in the parishes ruined their life. When I finished my SS3, I was sent to the minor seminary, the bonus pastor seminary of Sina, to teach in the minor seminary, the lower sector of the minor seminary. That's from JS1 to JS3. I went there with with a couple of colleagues. We went there and we did what we thought were our best. There was no time. The rector of that minor seminary called us as minor seminarians doing their 1 year with him. There was no way, no day that he called us and helped us to be the best we can be of ourselves. At the end of the day, he never told us, "Oh, thank you for your job." He never gave us any feedback. He never told us whether we have done well or not. Rather, he wrote, God knows what he wrote, because all of us were told to repeat without us knowing what we did wrong. We ended up, we were in the minor seminary. The food was not great. The pay was not great. We were only given 3,000 and we were not paid. Were we paid? I can't remember if we were paid. No, we were not paid. I don't think we were paid, but at the end of our stay in there, we were given 3,000 as a sent forth. 3,000. While our mates, our colleagues in the parish, some of the parishes, they were done, they were sent forth very well. They were, they were given, they were financially remunerated. They were appreciated, But we in the minor seminary, we were not appreciated. We felt we were not appreciated. And then as a kick in the teeth, we were sent to go and repeat without us knowing what we did wrong. That is really wrong. It took me time to get that off my chest because I just felt like I was used. Nobody should feel like he was used. As a minor seminarian, sent down to the minor seminary to teach and to do your apostolic work there, you are still under formation, and the rector or the formaters should help you to get the best out of yourself, because you are still a teenager. You don't know much, and you're doing your best to help your younger brothers to be the best according to what you were taught. So the rector of the seminary and the formaters of the seminary should also help these minor seminarians who are sent to do their 1 year there by telling them, feeding them back, helping them to be the best they should be, helping them to discharge their job very well, giving them, helping them to direct them. But I never got that. And it was really wrong, and I felt bad about it. I felt really, really bad about it, and I felt really angry towards the rector that I worked with then. Now, there is no need to stop minor seminarians who are doing their 1 year in the parishes and in the seminary or in the institutions. There is nothing that should stop them from taking JAM, from taking GCSE. There's nothing that should stop them. You need to listen to them and give them this opportunity to engage in these examinations so that they will have more opportunities. If you don't send them to the major seminary, they can easily transit seamlessly to the higher institutions. You don't kick them out from the system at the end of using them in the parishes. A lot of priests, the seminarian will spend an entire 1 year with them, working, doing everything they were asked to do, but then on the day he will be sent forth, they will put second collection. Or they don't even care about how this guy was sent forth. They don't really care. Nobody calls them, nobody, there's no accountability. Just kick him, write him a very, very bad report, tarnish his image. That's what they do. A lot of priests, they will keep threatening the seminarian all through his 1 year. They will keep threatening him with the report. I'm going to write the bad report for you. I'm going to write the bad report for you. And that would be, they use it as a means of control. Controlling this young guy, controlling him. A lot of priests flog their junior seminarian. A lot of priests flog their junior seminarians. A lot of priests beat them up, give them black eyes. A lot of them. I remember when we were at Osina doing our 1 year, our colleague who was in one of the nearby parishes in Uruala, one of the parishes in Uruala, he underwent torture under the assistant priest there. He was beaten up so many times. He was, in fact, at a point he had to run away from the parish to the seminary just for succor, looking for refuge. He had nobody to talk to. At the end of the day, at the end of his staying there, he was still giving a bad report. Now tell me, how do you think this young seminarian or this young man feels towards the church, towards this priest? These things need to be changed. It starts from there. The abuse starts from there. There is a lot of abuse that live with ex-seminarians, that live with even some priests, still suffer a lot of abuses that they underwent from their, through their they're staying in the junior seminary, in the major seminaries. These things were not addressed. And when you don't address these repressed emotions, they come out in one way or the other. And then they will ruin your life. You end up inflicting these damages on others, on other people. Be it if you are a priest, on the parishioners and the seminarians that work with you. If you are married, you will find yourself transferring this aggression on your family, your wife, your children, your parents, or whoever that is around you. These things need to be addressed. If you don't address abuse, they affect the person that is abused. They affect the abused, and they kind of grow the abuser to keep abusing more and more and more and more. A lot of seminarians were abused sexually in the minor seminary. A lot of seminarians were introduced into homosexualism in the minor seminary. They were scared for life. There's a lot of homosexualism going on in the minor seminary, in the major seminary, even in the priesthood. It happens. It is true. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it is there. And these things keep repeating themselves because the people who are abused, they didn't get the help that they need, and they end up abusing others. Physically, psychologically, sexually, intellectually, whichever way. You keep on, replicating this abuse. It keeps on going, multiplying. So it is not a news when you hear that seminarians, a seminarian was raped, or in the parish priest raped a young master. It is not a news. It happens all the time, but they don't open up. There is nowhere to talk about these things. There is a need to start addressing these things. The number of people who are damaged in the system is too much, and it is overshadowing the positive aspect of the system. It is overshadowing the good things, the good side of the system, of the seminary system. It is overshadowing. The bad aspect is overshadowing the good aspect now. There is a need to address these things from the minor seminary. And I believe to forestall more damages, it is high time we start sharing this video. It is high time we start talking about all these things so that the appropriate quarter will hear about these things and get hold of them, address them, so that this chain of abuse will stop. It will stop, and people the people who are abused will rehabilitate themselves and be more positive. Let these things, these baggages, these emotional baggages, not follow them to the grave, because as they are following them, they are going on inflicting more damages on more people, on people both in the system and outside the system. And if it comes down to, when it boils down to what is happening in the Western world, where the church is held accountable of the damages and abuses that people suffered in the past, trust me, the church in Africa will not survive it, because a lot of people are damaged. A lot of people are damaged, and a lot of people will seek for compensations, and the church will not be able to meet up with the compensation that will be asked from it. So please, it's time to talk about these things. Don't shy away from it. It's time to talk about them. And it's time for the church, for the authorities, the seminary authorities, the local ordinary, the bishops, the religious superiors and all that. It is time to start addressing this. It's time to start addressing it, so that it will limit the amount of abuse that these young guys are suffering, both in the seminary and outside the seminary. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.